Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. I have an older brother who does not work by choice. Literally the most educated, smartest man I've ever known. He's just lazy. It's literally been years, and he's been neckbearding in our parents' basement while I'm busting my butt at school. I took out loans, and when I graduate, I'm expected to pay them back. Hence, why I need the job on top of having to pay for other living expenses. My brother has never paid a penny for his education. My parents, in their own name, took out loans for him. Lately, my dad's been getting on his butt about getting a job. My brother's been brushing him off. I was given a tip to apply to this really lucrative graduate program. It's not in my field whatsoever, but it's paid training, really well paid. And I put in an application. I told my mom about it, and she asked for the link to the program. I sent it without giving it a second thought. And I got an interview. Now, when I told my mom about it, she asked me to withdraw my application so that I can give my brother a chance to apply. I said, "What? He's had literal years to apply. This is my opportunity, even if it's not in my field. There's no guarantee that I'm going to get it anyway, but I want to at least try. I need a job, and I don't ever want to be financially dependent on my family. I want a life of my own, and I feel like them asking me to withdraw my application from consideration is sabotaging my future for the sake of their golden child. I've always been on the back burner for the sake of my brother, and they feel that it's his opportunity to have since it's his field. But one, I have no idea if he applied, and two, I don't think he'd be allowed to apply because it's a new grad program, and he has not been a new grad in years. I don't plan to withdraw my application, but everyone in my family is telling me I'm being selfish. I've been banned from Thanksgiving, and I came home yesterday to find my mom converting my room into an office for my brother. My aunt has been bombarding me with texts telling me I'm not being considerate of my family. My friends are mostly on my side. One said she sees my parents' point of view, but I don't know. Family friends I see out in public won't even look at me anymore. Over an interview? It's mad. Am I the a-hole for not giving my brother this opportunity? Not the a-hole. The request is nonsensical, and your family appears to be smoking some wacky tobacco. Get the job and put your career trajectory on an onwards and upward path and never look back. Not the a-hole. Remind all the people in your family that are upset over this that you, unlike your brother, have school loans to pay. Jeez. Why is your family so lopsided in their support of their kids? Is your brother expected to take care of your parents financially in their retirement? Not the a-hole, but wow, your parents are horrid. I wish I could advise you in this situation. It sounds like you need to find another living arrangement somehow. After this, I would suggest keeping your opportunities to yourself. But I get it. No one could have anticipated that your parents would act like this. Continue to apply for the job, and as soon as you're able, I suggest you leave home and never look back. The time will come when your parents will regret their decision, particularly when they get tired of caring for their do-nothing golden child. I, 28 female, am currently in my third trimester, and my younger brother, his wife, both 25 male and female respectively, and their child just got back from Australia. His wife is currently in her first trimester with their second child. Due to my younger brother's very poor financial decisions back in Australia, they've decided to move into my parents' home, with whom I'm currently staying with. I would like to add that I'm staying with my parents because we're waiting for our BTO to finish building. I'm paying both rent and the dowry to her. Dowry that is meant to be for my renovations. I won't be surprised if she says it's actually a part of the rent. Now, my mother, 64 female, although she denies it, has time and again showed extremely blatant favoritism towards my brother's wife. Like, she does whatever she can to please her, going as far as to sponsoring their wedding for them about 2 years back. She's never done this for any of her children, just for this particular in-law. The problem now is, she's asked me to give up my bed for them, and in my really pissed, cranky state, I replied back with, "If you do that, I'll just move out of the house." She replied back with, "Oh, so at least you have a place to stay." I snorted back and said, "Sure, the streets." She got upset and told me not to joke like that. I nearly flipped her off and told her that I'll sleep in my in-laws' living room if I have to then. Nearly wanted to tell her that she won't be seeing her own grandson if that does happen. She got so upset, she actually texted my eldest brother about it, saying it was just a joke, but even my brother didn't find it funny. So, am I the a-hole for replying back to her in a snarky manner? For the record, my brother isn't paying rent. He's the golden child of the family. My mother paid his bills up until he got married. She likes his wife because she's polite, smart, and religious, a trait that none of her other in-laws or kids have. Edit. I'd just like to clarify a few things first. As much as I'd like to go no contact with her, my dad has done nothing wrong so far, at least to my understanding. It wouldn't be fair for him because he absolutely can't go anywhere without my mother, unless it's to pray or go to work. And I would have to go no contact with my mom's side of the family, as she'd easily get information from them. Second, I'm not financially stable at the moment, because I'm currently jobless due to me quitting my then job. I left way before finding out I was pregnant, and having to refuse any offer after entering my late second trimester by then. My husband doesn't earn enough, so we're just waiting for when the baby is out, and I can get a job to ease the burden of financial responsibilities that he's facing. Third, my younger brother isn't actually aware of this. We're not informing him yet so as to not stress out his wife. Not the a-hole, but it reinforces to me the fact that the biggest a-hole sibling will always be the parents' favorite. The more of an idiot they are, broke, in trouble with the cops, and a waste of space. Bet that's the photo they carry on their purses. Not the a-hole. Your mom has made it quite plain that she would happily boot her rent-paying daughter either out of the house or let her swap sleeping places with her non-rent-paying son. I'd suggest that as soon as you can, take your rent and your dowry and your baby bump and find a congenial place to live for the next 2 years till your house is ready. Your mom may realize she messed up, but the tension and the favoritism is only going to get worse. Imagine what she'll be like when there are 2 babies in her house and only one of them belongs to her favorite. Not the a-hole, but being snarky won't get you anywhere or change anything with your mom. Your younger brother and his wife will always be the favorite, and your mom will bend over backwards for them. My 28 female, younger brother, 24 male, and his fiancée, 23 female, are supposed to get married in the spring after being engaged for about a year. My younger brother has always been the golden child between the both of us to my mom, not to my dad. Him and his fiancée currently live with her, rent-free I might add. My dad and I, on the other hand, have mixed feelings about this wedding. We both feel like my brother is rushing into things and not being financially smart. He just finished his bachelor program a year ago, is still trying to get on his feet and find a good full-time job in his field, and decides to spend thousands of dollars on a wedding? We sat him down and explained this to him and asked him what the rush was. Why not push it off a few years and save up so you guys can really have the wedding of your dreams? He explained to us that his fiancée wants the wedding as soon as possible and doesn't want to wait. Well, his fiancée's family is pitching in a couple thousand for the wedding. My dad reluctantly is pitching in a couple thousand as well, all important later. Well, a few nights ago, I'm eating dinner with my husband when I get a call from my future sister-in-law. Convo starts out normal. Hey, how are you? Crappy weather we're having, etc., etc. Until she tells me she has a serious question to ask me. She asks me if she can use my wedding dress that I wore to my wedding just over a year ago. She explains that she can't afford one herself, that she absolutely loves mine, and that it would be her something borrowed. I immediately shut her down and said, I'm sorry, but no, this is a thousands of dollars dress we're talking about, that she'd have to get altered to fit her by the way too. So no way. We're also not even close at all and barely talk, so like, what the duck? She starts begging and even starts crying and going on about how she can't afford one. I told her I'm sorry, but no. She then starts going on about how I'm not even financially helping her and my brother pay for the wedding, so the least I can do is let her use my dress. I told her the honest truth, that I think they're rushing into having a wedding and not being financially smart. She said she didn't care. She has a timeline and wants to be married by 25. I basically said to her that she made her bed, so now she has to lie in it and figure it out herself. And if she can't afford her wedding dress, then she should not be having a wedding. Simple as that. She ran back to my mom and to my brother to tell them what I said. They think I'm an a-hole because I have the money to financially help my brother and his fiancée, but I'm being selfish and unsupportive. They also think it's just a dress, so what's the big deal? My dad is on my side and defending me and is now thinking of taking back his financial help due to the sheer audacity of my brother's fiancée asking me such a thing. Not the a-hole. Tell her to use a sack of flour as a dress if she wants to get married so badly. The entitlement. Jesus. Not the a-hole. Who pays for their sibling's wedding? Come on now. If my brothers wanted to get married, I would tell them congrats, and I'll see you on your big day. Like, who asks anyone to contribute to their party? Please don't give these people a dime. She has a terrible timeline planned, so now she gets to have a cheap wedding. Not the a-hole. She asked you and you said no. She should have left it there. I would have stuck to the, no, you can't. No, I don't want to lend it out. Or, no, I'm not paying money for your wedding. I hate when people assume others have money and it should be spent on them. She should look for a dress in her budget, thrift shop, online sellers, David's Bridal. She doesn't need a dress for thousands of dollars. I would keep it focused on your dress and say no, and don't need to explain why she can't borrow it. Also, that their wedding is not something you should or will fund. I'm currently pregnant with my first child. My fiancé and I collectively decided to hold off telling people for at least 3 months for the following reasons. Didn't want to jump the gun in case it didn't work out. My sister was mid-pregnancy with her first after struggling with conceiving for 7 years, and we didn't want to steal the thunder. So, baby was born and all is well. My fiancé and I decided to hold off another month, so all attention could be on my sister and nephew. We announced to his friends and family in the meantime, and everyone was super thrilled. A few days ago, I told my parents, and they were over the moon. I sent out a nice email with a little e-card and some sonogram pics to the family members that are spread out and that I don't see regularly and can't tell in person. My sister included, as she lives in a different state than I do. We got a lot of congratulations and excitement from most everyone, except my sister and her husband. She called in tears, tearing into me for planning this and stealing attention from her son that took her so long to have. I told her this wasn't planned, it just happened. That made things worse, as I am significantly younger than her, and then it turned into her ranting at me how nice it must be to just be able to accidentally get pregnant when she had to fight, struggle, and, her words, actually work to have a family. Her husband was in the background and backing her up. I told her we had even taken an extra month to wait and tell people, specifically so she and my nephew could have undivided celebration and attention. Then I ended the call. My family is a little too OMG new baby to gauge properly, but my sister and her husband definitely think I'm an a-hole. Am I the a-hole here? Not the a-hole. Your sister may not be in a clear state of mind due to hormones, exhaustion, and potentially even postpartum depression. Don't take it too personally, and let her have time to sit with it for a few days before trying to talk again. You've done nothing wrong, and she doesn't get to decide when someone else can get pregnant, or under what circumstances. It was considerate of you to wait as long as you did. You're not the a-hole. You waited 3 months while your sister was still pregnant, and then 1 month after the kid. Did she expect you to wait until you had your kid? And then what? Just say it was adopted? Jeez. Not the a-hole. In fact, you were very nice, because the second she attacked me over my fertility, I know my temper would have kicked in, and I would have said some very vile sister relationship-changing crap to her. So, good job. I never get how people, grown adults, are actually verbal nowadays about not getting enough attention. It just sounds pathetic and sad to me. I almost always have the same impulse to say, "You're a ducking adult." This is some small-town family drama, and the relationships involved are kind of convoluted. I, 24 female, am getting married to my fiancé, 24 male, this summer. We've decided just to do something small and fun with a few close friends and family. No reason to break the bank and stress out planning. We always knew the guest list was going to be tricky because of family situations, but it's gotten way more out of control than we thought, and my fiancé and I are being told that we're a-holes for ruining a family occasion like this, since we're the oldest grandchildren on both sides, etc., etc. The background is that my dad cheated on my mom for several years with an also married member of their church when I was 14. My mom divorced him, and I was so disgusted with his behavior that I couldn't stand to be around him. So I went with my mom and refused to visit. It was a rough time. His affair partner's son was my age and in my classes at school, and we ended up talking through it and bonding over the whole situation. We sent a joint anti-RSVP to their wedding invitation and stayed friends. We ended up going to the same college, and 3 years ago realized we had feelings for each other. It was hard for my mom at first, because it brought up a lot of bad memories, and my fiance's mom was especially cruel to her during all the divorce and custody stuff. But my fiance won her over, and I think being able to talk openly about it with us and his dad has helped everyone heal. One thing we agree on is that my dad and my fiance's mom shouldn't be at the wedding. We've both resumed low contact with them, but with major boundaries, because they acted like all was forgiven when we started dating and had to be put in their place. I've had to firmly tell his mom that she will not be helping me plan several times, and they're not happy that my brother is walking me down the aisle instead of my dad. My mom and his dad are willing to play nice if we want, but I feel like we'd all be more comfortable not dealing with it. We told them we would have breakfast with them that morning and dinner before we left for our honeymoon, but they couldn't attend the wedding itself. It's been drama ever since, with relatives taking sides, pressure to let them come, and people making really vicious comments about marrying siblings. My fiancé has now cut off his mom completely, and my dad is heartbroken that I would exclude him from my wedding. So I'm reconsidering. I just want a calm, low-key wedding and a calm, low-key life with my husband. You are not the a-hole. Your father and stepmother caused great grief for both your families, and I'm glad you found a strong support system. Not the a-hole. So here's the thing. There are no specific rules about how weddings have to be, and who can, has to be, shouldn't be in your life. You and your fiancé are both adults and have the autonomy to decide what you want for your wedding and for your life together in general. As long as your dad and future mother-in-law are not giving you a cent towards your wedding, they can be upset about your choice, but cannot dictate what you can do. Same goes for any family who are giving you grief. Wedding invitations are not legal summons. You don't have to invite them, and they don't have to come. Not the a-hole. Difficult situation. I do think not having them there is the best thing if you're uncomfortable with them and your mom in the same place, and even more so because there's been hostility over this. I'd be willing to reconsider this if everyone had taken a reasonable communicative approach to resolving it. But sounds like it's been all drama. Nobody wants that at their wedding.